Yeah, couldn't be bothered waiting anymore. So we've been talking trash for the last 30 minutes. Get around us.
It's only us headbanging, mate. Come on, you gotta headbang to
the average Joes, mate. They're just average.
As long as Tug sends us a video of him doing it.
Oh, yeah, Tug will be all about it.
Number one fan.
Yeah. So who have we got here today, Al?
The average Joes.
Mm-hmm.
Veteran Games team.
Yeah, average by name, average by nature, according to Critter.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get Critter on as well. He's going to talk about getting medicinal and stuff. he loves a bit of that. Loves it. So anyway, we've got Jason here.
Thank you.
I double pressed that. That's awkward. Are you just Jason, or you want to be Jason somebody? It's up to you. Pick your last name if you want to.
Jason Isaac is fine.
Okay.
You know, got nothing to hide.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Well, all right. Well, geez, some people do on this chat, mate. We have all sorts of like drug lords and everything on here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're happy to keep everyone's name hush hush.
Yeah, no.
Mind you,
you know what I do in my pastime.
Yeah, the angry gnome. Yeah, he literally has his own fight club, but we're not allowed to talk about it. I've already broken the first rule. We've got Joe. Are you just Joe?
Let's go, Joe. Just Joe.
See, there you go. Anyway, it is Joey. Are you Joey or Joe today?
Joey.
What do you want to be?
Whatever, mate. Just
excellent, mate. Love that. Love it.
Going on in this team,
isn't
it's
it?
very
Isn't it? It's very average. And we've also got an L-Plate podcaster with us.
A new interview host.
Yeah, a new. We've got auditions for the podcast that are coming in here, and I'm over it because I know everything about the average show, so I'm just going to tap out. So,
well, I was going to say the biggest challenge of this podcast was going to be the familiarity. So
yeah. So people are bored of us, so speaking. So we've got a challenge that we've thrown out, and SJ is going to co-host a podcast. So welcome, SJ.
good hustle.
So to add some context for that, Burso is one of the average Joes in the team.
Yes, it is. SJ. But now you're going to have to press the buttons as well.
Oh.
And I'm not going to tell you what they do.
That's way too much pressure for me.
Get some good randomisation going tonight.
Is that for you, Burso?
That's literally for this whole podcast.
Screw you.
So
Hi.
why don't we start with what are the average Joes and what are the veteran games and how did this all come about?
I reckon Jace is probably well placed to talk to. Maybe we start with what the veteran games is first, and then we can talk about who we are and what the hell we're doing.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, yeah, the veteran games is where it's a response to the Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran Suicide. And it's really important that we get veterans that have served coming back together again and basically getting connected with their families, because obviously once we're discharged from service, you can become very isolated and you can fall away quite quickly. So you miss that camaraderie, you miss that purpose, you miss, just the simple things together. So Veteran Games is designed to bring veterans, I guess, out of the woodwork and out of their isolation, bring them together in their local communities so that they can train, they can do life together. It's not necessarily just about doing a competition together. It's actually about doing life together. So the real important part is that we encourage our friends or people that we know of that that are a veteran from the ADF, bring them together so that we can form, I guess, our localised community and get back that sense of purpose and meaning again.
Because it's one of those things as a veteran, when you are in the military, they're your family. They're the people that have that shared experience. They've been through good, bad, ugly situations, and part of the reason you get through all that stuff is because you know the people around you have got your back. And when you leave the military, you leave behind that community where they really understand. So like for me, I was in submarines, and when I mention the word submarine now that I'm not in the service, most of the time I get 3 questions, and they're pretty silly questions. The first question I actually get, this is overwhelmingly the first question, is, are they yellow? and that obviously they're not yellow.
I'll just cross that. question off.
Cross that one
Yeah.
off. But that also shows that people have such a small understanding of what submarines are, and it's when you're with your mates, when you're in the submarines or you're outfield or on a plane or wherever, you don't need to explain anything. People just get you. They know what it's about, and I know that military people get that, and first responders get that too, because you've been through the trenches, and you like that first question you get, are they yellow? Is it's a bit of a piss take. It's like, oh no, they're not yellow. And then the next question I get is, do they have windows? And if you know anything about structural engineering, a window is a weak point. So submarines do not have windows. I mean, there are some like around. I know my wife has a crack at me sometimes because we've actually been on a submersible that had a glass bottom, but that's more of a boat with a see-through bottom. But yeah, and then that third question I get is, how deep can a submarine go? Now that's classified, and but being when you think about my nearly 10 years, boiling down to 3 questions, 2 of which are silly, it means that you haven't got that understanding with the community. You're straight away kind of ostracised from the rest of the civilian community. And so to circle back to you, Jace, the importance of connecting with veterans is that you don't need to explain. You don't need to say, you mentioned one word, you're in 3 RAR. Straight away, you found a brother or a sister, and you mentioned the word Navy or ship or submarine, and people get it. Whereas when you leave that community of people, it's really easy to hide away.
It'd be exhausting as well.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just telling a story, you're having to explain everything.
And it's also like being able to summarize. Sorry, I need to cough. It's being able to summarize nearly 10 years into one sentence, and it's a bit belittling, and it's a bit it doesn't feel great because you think you've worked hard, you've been through some tough times, and then people ask you, are they yellow? And you're like, oh, nah. And it's tough leaving that community, and a lot of people, when they discharge, whether it's voluntary or involuntary, they are straight away removed and quite isolated, and a lot of people move from where they served to a different locality. So for me, like the submarine community is in Western Australia, so moving to Victoria was hard because I didn't have any mates. I didn't have anyone who really understood what it was like to be there. And the idea of the veteran games is to bring back that camaraderie and to get people connecting and being familiar and sharing that context. And, like there's a lot of contemporary veterans and there's a lot of young veterans that are sort of misunderstood. One thing I sort of see through what I do for work is that the term underemployment is massive. Like, there could be some brilliant people out there. Oh, excuse me.
Have a savvy, it'll help.
Great idea.
Oh, that was good.
A mixed berry will do the trick.
Yeah.
And it's delicious. I'm not sure where I was going with that, but the idea of bringing together young veterans through sport is a great idea, and it's so important to connect people. And who doesn't love jumping through muddy puddles and climbing up stuff and throwing things around and yelling at each other? And it's all around, it's a good vibe, but the underlying intention is connection. And if it helps reduce the frequency rate for veterans dying by suicide, then that's got to be a good thing.
Yeah. And you're promoting physical activity as well.
Exactly.
It's completely different from just a circle to get together and talk. Like, it's 2 birds with 1 stone, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, because there's so many good things you can do to increase mental health, and diet, exercise, all that stuff is so beneficial.
And the thing to add there too is, we've got people doing the veteran games that you'd need to have physical competitors that are capable of doing the obstacle course. But a lot of us are very injured, whether it be mentally or physically. And the beauty about it is that I've had many conversations with many team members or people just asking about the veteran games. Well, I can't do that because I'm injured, you know. I'm not going to be able to get up that wall, you know, whatever the task might be. They're already stepping back from it because they've got this vision that, well, I'm broken, I can't do it. But we've proven that can be changed, and because we really want to get back to that sense of purpose, meaning, and that belonging of it as a team together. So you're not doing it by yourself. You know, it's not like, you know, you're doing a non-team based sport or activity where it all is up to you to perform. It's the whole team. So if one of us is struggling, then the whole team needs to get around that person and help them get through that wall, get under that cargo net, push that 8-ton mog truck, whatever it might be, you know, and it's looking at what is our capabilities to be able to get through that obstacle course, and then using those strengths that we have as a team.
And they don't have some random instructors just screaming at you while you're doing this, so they'll let you work it out how you need to.
Yeah, no, look, that side of it's done. You know, you get that in service, but you know, yeah, there's a lot of banter thrown around though. You know what I mean? You know, Burso said it a little bit earlier that you know, Jace, you know, he can't get over walls, but you know, he can roll really well.
We'd have different strengths and everybody would be different. Like if you've got people that are lighter and people that are heavier and taller and shorter. And
That was a deliberate crack at Burzo, wasn't it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you're right, because there's some big units in our team.
Yeah.
And there's some slightly smaller units in our team, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what the activity is. It's about working as a team and, like you said, using people's strengths. You know, so it's when there's a strength competition, that's where the big boys come in. But if we need to climb over things or help other people, that's where some of the slightly less solid people come through. But you know, maybe that's where we can segue to the preparation.
Well, yeah.
Or lack of.
Even just before that, I mean, you know, I think back to one of the obstacles that we did last year where we had to go up over an obstacle that, you know, was cargo nets and it was big beams that was constructed together. And we had to climb up the cargo nets on one side, go across cargo nets and then down the other side on like a ladder, you know. And you watch some of the team members, they were just rolling across the nets, you know, quite easily. But then you get some of the other guys that are maybe a bit bigger, maybe not as flexible. They're not rolling across the nets. They're probably going to get stuck in the net.
Just talking about Burso again.
No, I wasn't one of the people that rolled across, and I'm not one of the big guys. It just looked like injuries waiting to happen.
So to give a bit more context to the event as well, the way I understand it, currently it's a once-a-year event being held in Queensland again, near the Gold Coast. And so it's just an open invite for any veterans to put a team together and go and compete and get that sort of bond and that environment again.
Yeah, that's right. So it's promoted nationally to current serving defence members and veterans. The criteria is, you know, if you can, I guess, have a basic fitness standard to pass the entrance fitness guidelines, then, you know, and you can rally together a team of 10, then, you know, you can join the Veteran Games. So this year I believe that there are current serving ADF members, which is actually really great because last year it was all veteran teams that were ex-serving. So this year it's probably going to be a little bit more, you know, of that banter, camaraderie and competition.
Yeah. How long does it go for? So is it a couple of days or is it over one day that you get through it, or?
2 days.
Yep.
So Saturday will be the first day of, I guess, getting introduced to the obstacles that we will face.
So you don't know what it's going to look like going into it?
No, we can have a bit of a guess based on last year, but
right.
veteran games are very strategic at not – they want to keep us in the dark.
Yeah.
Well, the site that it's held at is one where it's like a Spartan race equivalent. Like there's a – I don't know how big the paddock is, but it could be hundreds of acres. And so that potentially could have 50-odd obstacles there. So which ones they choose, we don't know. But they're Tough Mudder styled.
Yep.
Like they're not going to break you, but there'll be a bit of fun and you might get a bit dirty doing it. And some of them are balance centered. Sometimes you have to carry things. So it's a bit of everything.
And getting back to your question, so yeah, 2-day competition. Every team will go through doing the obstacle courses. They'll be broken up, so we might do maybe 5 or 6 different obstacle courses throughout that day. And then on the second day, we will repeat that process, but it will be more challenging because the first day is generally done with just making sure we get the team through the challenges. The second day will be get the team plus equipment through the challenges. So, everyone's probably going to be feeling it. They're going to be a bit sore. Maybe they're a bit tired. Now we've just got to really, commit and make sure everyone, gets through the obstacles on the second day, and it will be judged basically on our scoring. So every team will get the full 2 days out of the competition. It's not as though you get knocked out because it will be based on, an aggregate of scoring. So however your scoring places is where you'll be positioned.
And when you say equipment, what's that you're taking through the course with you?
Joe?
There's a box over there. So that wooden box.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
yes.
Sometimes they put things in wooden boxes and you got to carry them over cargo nets, and sometimes there's just general stores, so like jerry cans and logs and all sorts of random things that we got to carry.
Yeah,
just to simulate kind of what
ammo boxes, can range from a small ammo box to a 2-person lift ammo box. Tyres, doing tyre flips.
So many tyres.
So is it the same obstacles? You at least know what you're going over, but then you'll have to do that with the stores on the second day? Or do they mix it up?
Well, we've done 1 year of competition. So last year it was that, we knew the obstacles. And then the second day, it was using, getting that equipment from point A to point B, as well as all our team. This year, they might throw another surprise in.
You never know. And so you guys, the Average Joes, come under sponsorship by the Ringwood RSL, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep, Ringwood RSL, they were the only RSL in Australia that actually backed a team to go to the Veteran Games. When I say they backed a team, they not only helped, I guess, our team form together, but they put together funding and they paid for our flights, accommodation, transfers, and also made quite a generous donation to Veteran Games, as far as I'm led to believe. But it enabled, last year a team of 8 veterans to go and compete, where some of the veterans may have not been able to go if they weren't supported by the RSL.
And I think it took the leadership of Jamo, who's the president of the Ringwood RSL, working in with Jace and a few other people in the team to really say this is important, and to really look at the contemporary veterans, because if you look at the sort of the average age of the punter that goes to the RSL, it's pretty old. And I did nearly 10 years and I was in my early 30s when I got out. And so it's like not all of the participants who've been in the military are all old blokes. Mm. And don't get me wrong, like huge respect to the old diggers, and I absolutely have all the time in the world to sit down and have a beer or listen to anyone who's served at any point. But as a contemporary veteran, I personally didn't get a lot of value out of going to the RSL. I didn't find community at the RSL, and that's where I'm really stoked to be part of the Ringwood RSL, because Jamo has really pushed the agenda with that particular RSL in looking at young people. because the don't quote me on this, but I would assume that the veteran suicide rate is not so much the older veteran. It's more likely to be the younger person who's lost that sense of community and purpose. And so I think it's really brave of what Jamo did to sort of get behind this, and not just get behind it, but also pay for it. Like, I think putting your money where your mouth is one thing, and I think that's what it takes, and us team of pretty average people, we're all about the same age. We've all done varying levels of service, and some of us have got varying levels of impairment or injury. But the beauty is we're having a crack, and we're doing it together. And if I talk to my personal experience last year, I found the process a bit overwhelming. Sort of this time last year, I kind of shied away from it a little bit, and it was because my wife really pushed me to stay involved, and without being at risk here of turning this into a psych session, I feel a lot of guilt about the time that I spent away from my wife and kids. We lived on opposite coasts of Australia for many years, and that sense of guilt where I was an absent father and husband is something that I've not let go, and I'm not sure I will. So, and this is something that we spoke about sort of offline, was that veterans are pretty bad at putting themselves first and doing things for themselves. And I did that. I sort of shied away, and I went, a weekend on the Gold Coast, I'm not sure I should do that. I should probably, do the stay-at-home thing and just be here. But then, my wife said, don't be ridiculous. You're going. You're going to have a great time. And you know what? When I did have that chat with her where she pushed me to do it, I went, yeah, all right, fine, I will. And after that, I really threw myself into it and committed to it, and I had an absolute blast. It was so good to connect with other veterans and have a bit of fun. And there was some shenanigans, of an evening, and we broke some stuff in the hotel, which is a different story. But
turned into a rock band.
Joe, please tell us what was broken in the hotel.
This is a high level story.
Yeah. Well, as you can expect from a Tough Mudder style course, there was some water obstacles, and we all got wet, and this idiot decided to dry his boots out with a hairdryer.
By this idiot, you mean yourself.
Sorry, I was pointing to myself for the listeners. Put a hairdryer in my wet boots and proceeded to melt the absolute shit out of the hairdryer. So that happened, but it was really good fun doing this whole thing. And then when Jason and I and a few of the others had a debrief, like a month or so later, we're like, are we doing this again? And I just went, hell yeah. And that's where this year I've probably taken a bit more of a leadership approach to the team and trying to get more people in, because I understand why it would be difficult for a veteran to commit to this. And to anyone who's not sure, or they feel guilt, or they're in a position where they don't feel like they deserve an opportunity, you do. Get out, have a crack, be part of something, make some mates, and look after yourself, because this is the opportunity to improve your mental well-being. And if that stops veterans dying by suicide, game on. That's an important thing to do. So support that.
You'd be a better person and husband coming home from that as well. Like, you're not going away for a couple of days just on the piss and doing nothing. Like, it's a boys' trip, but not a boys' trip. Like, what you're bringing back to the family environment from that completely outweighs those 2 days apart.
That was like, it kind of felt like, oh, this is just a footy trip, and I'm sure the wife wants to go and do something or whatever else. But you're right, like it was that whole picture. Crisp.
Oh, nice double crack.
Well done. But yeah, it's that piece about looking after yourself so that you can give your whole and better self to your family and friend group. And we've had some things this year with some of the team members where some people have needed some support, and by pulling together as a group, we've managed to work a lot of that stuff out. So it's good to look out for each other.
Has it had an effect on the membership at Ringwood RSL with the contemporary veterans as well?
Yeah, look, I believe that, look, part of our training plan is to we have our physical training schedule, but then we also have some training days or team catch-up days at the RSL. And to Jamo's credit, he's a good salesman. Every time we bring Average Joe's team members into the club, he's always asking, come over here. Let's sign up, get you as a member for Ringwood RSL. Well, now for veterans, at Ringwood RSL, you don't have to pay for your membership. You just get a membership. But it is actually, it's good because it's like a second home for them. And even though they're very spread out, like we got people all over the state, but we do have at least probably 3 get-togethers at the RSL during our training and catch-ups. And it gives people an opportunity to just come meet the committee, meet the actual club members, because obviously when there's funding going into a team, it's the members of the club that are paying their memberships or the club's creating revenue, then that's got to go towards somewhere, and they want to see where's it going. And when they see our team and they hear their stories or they see the excitement, from maybe even watching the documentary from last year, it actually really gives them a sense of value, and it connects them personally with our members. So, there are team members that are probably, multiple club members from different RSLs, but that's okay. Realistically, it's all about looking after each other. Doesn't matter what club you're from.
No, that's right, and it's good engagement. It's the sort of thing that it's good to see RSLs getting involved in. So I've seen quite a few little videos of you guys in the documentary that you've mentioned. We can link to some of those as well. But have you guys got like a Facebook and stuff people can look at and see what you've been doing at the games? What's the best place for listeners to have a look at what it's all about?
Yeah, so look, there's probably multiple ways that they can connect in with us. We do have a Facebook page. It's Average Joe's Ringwood RSL team. Our logo is probably similar to an Average Joe's logo that you would see from the movie, what is it, Dodgeball,
Not copyright.
Yeah, not copyright. But we've changed it slightly. It's someone in cam pants wearing I don't even know what a navy cap is called, but they've got this navy cap on. So it's pretty distinctive. But you can also find out, you can probably YouTube, veteran games, and you'll see lots of different video links, and you'll see our team members on those videos, as well as going to, veterangames.com, and you'll see and hear from all the teams that have competed.
That was one thing we noticed last year when we were there, is there were cameras and drones and everything everywhere all the time, because...
And that was just Bursa. Not even the official media.
I mean, that's why we wondered why we weren't really getting above 4th place, maybe, is that Bursa was there busy with his camera.
Well, is he going to contribute anything this year? Or?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the last training session we're at, he was filming himself.
It's classic. But
trying to get the right lighting.
Selfie vlogging.
Right angle.
Yeah, and it's
a hard job.
Most of us, I mean, speak for myself, Jace, I think you do pretty good, but social media is not really my thing. I'm not really into it, not very good at it, didn't have it for a long time. But if it gets the message out there for veterans to have a go, we'll do it. We'll get our mug on a camera, we'll come on a podcast, we'll sign books and kiss babies. We'll do what we've got to do.
Well, I'll back you up there too, Joe, is that, we've got a team member that joined Average Joe's purely because she was searching for something greater than what she had. She lived in a very isolated community. She didn't have any support networks there. And if she was left to her own devices, she was struggling to find purpose and meaning. So, she just jumped online, and she found that by doing a search through veteran games, she actually discovered that there was a Victorian team, which then just that week I put up another post on our Facebook page just saying, hey, we're looking for veterans. If you would like to know more about veteran games, if you want to join our team, please feel free to contact me. I had my email there, and from that point, she was able to connect with us. She sent me an email, which then led to us meeting her face-to-face when we actually went to Spartan Beast.
So any Victorian veteran can, could look up or could potentially join the Average Joes, at least until maybe there's some other Victorian teams as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, and also like last year we were the only non-Victorian team, but that's not what we told everyone. We told everyone that we emerged as the Southern Region champions.
That's right.
Still wasn't a lie.
I just realised that was a live feed, Besso. We're live on, what are we on at the moment? Okay. Oh,
I
well.
see why now you make him host, because he is a menace when he's not sitting on a chair strapped to a microphone. Whatever.
So we all get shy when we realise we're on a live post.
I thought this was just standard Burso lurking with a camera.
No, this is the first time I've gone live.
How many we got? 4?
We're at 3, which is funny because we've had 6 people come, so 3 people have left.
Great content.
Quality viewing.
Oh, great.
Sorry for that segue. So, sorry, you were saying that, so any veterans in Victoria could look you guys up and get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. We started, with just a handful of veterans coming together, and we were given the job to, recruit veterans really, and I thought I knew a couple, but we weren't really connecting probably to this level. And then it's just grown from there. So, now we're at 22 veterans, which is part of our team going to the Gold Coast this year. Last year we were 8. And I've actually got a list of probably over 35 veterans that we've connected with. And that's all just through various conversations, people saying, hey, I'm really interested, but maybe I can't compete this year. What about next year? So the list just keeps growing.
Nice, yeah. So there's also, the games are held just out of the Gold Coast, and I know they're looking for more spectators this year as well. So particularly if ever anyone's around Brisbane or the Gold Coast, from the videos I've seen, it looks like a great event, and they're going to try and make it a bit more spectator accessible. So get around that if you're in the area,
because it's not that far. Like I got a couple of mates that live in Brisbane, and they're going to come up. So I'm excited to see some local people that they're familiar faces. So just get around it.
Are there like bleachers or something? Like how do you watch?
Well, you'd be able to just follow around the course, because it's a big open paddock basically, and so they have a roped off section for which is where the actual course is, and yeah, you can just kind of stand on the sidelines. And what was it last year, Jace? We were the crowd favourite.
Yes, we
won
did
an
peer
award.
reviewed.
We did win an award. We were the crowd favourites. It's probably because, I had a lot of friends up there that said they were going to come along, so probably half the crowd was our friends.
Not true. It was everybody. Everyone was just loving us.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yes, they probably felt sorry for us when we had to go and deal with that 8-ton mog.
Yeah, that was a crowd pleaser, that one. Because we all sort of took it in turns to go first on a particular obstacle. So it was a rotating cycle of, watching everybody else and then working out your own strategy. But then at some point you had to go first, and we happened to go first when we had to push this big old truck. And this thing was not moving. And because we were probably on the lighter side of the teams, didn't do so well. But the crowd got behind us, which was cool. But yeah, I think we busted a couple of veins.
Oh, I couldn't think of anything worse than pushing a truck.
Yeah, and a truck that was slightly dug in some wet grass, so it didn't really get moving in, because we were the first ones. Like I said, we didn't have the technique down, and then shortly after us, the team that went second pushed the truck several hundred metres in a matter of minutes. So we just kind of, dignity was gone.
So a lot of people, their own physical training and stuff drops off as they get a bit older as well. Is that something you've found you've had to structure the training and, maybe got back to a bit of a training program that some of you might not have had for a while?
Yeah, I think, lessons learnt from last year. We we sort of encouraged some training sessions, definitely, but it was sort of more of a who's available? Do you want to turn up? Let's get some training done. Where this year we've been a bit more structured, so I've sort of put a lot more effort into going, okay, let's meet, at least once a month all together, considering that people are so spread out and they've got jobs, lives, families, etc. But, we've got a bit more of a structure together. We do like to obviously have encouragement for people to continue up with their own training during the week, whatever works for them, whether it's running, whether it's lifting some weights, whether it's, doing Pilates or whatever, as long as they're active and doing something. Just recently, a lot of us joined together to do the push-up challenge just to have a bit of accountability, but then also support other causes, and, the thing about that is you can see where everyone's at with their push-ups.
Which, Chase, I think you were the only one that finished all of them.
I'm the only one that did all of them. Like, I don't know, everyone else dropped off.
I got
at some point in
so
time.
I couldn't finish.
But the thing that that I remember and I laugh a lot about is that after the veteran games, everyone was really keen as doing these obstacle courses, right? So then one of our members goes, hey, let's do Spartan race, right? So we picked a Spartan race, but we just didn't pick, the 5 or 10K Spartan race. We picked Spartan Beast, 21 kilometres, 30 obstacles.
I did say that was a bad idea.
Go hard or go home.
When they said to me, we're doing the Spartan race, I was like, oh, that sounds fun. Which distance are we doing? The 5 or maybe the 10? And then Jace goes, we're doing the 21. I went, that's mental. I think I said something like, look, I'm probably okay with that because cross-country running's my thing and I like that sort of type of commitment. But like I said, some of the lads are carrying injuries, and so the 21 kilometre seemed a bit ambitious. And when we got there, no, Burso didn't compete.
Yeah, well, Burso, there was a comment going around that Burso is like a blister, turns up when all the hard work is done.
Oh, we're starting.
He apparently had work on that morning, but
Rubbish.
He didn't.
Don't know if anyone witnessed it.
Hey, let me tell you about that work. Look, we both work.
I'll go live again. You keep this up.
Well, you come on, mate. Let's take it. Let's go. Mate, gloves off. We both have work. Burso works for an ex-service organisation. I work for an ex-service organisation. We both were going to be at the same place, working. Apparently the event may have had low numbers, might have had more numbers at the Spartan Beast, who knows. But, I committed. Can't say Burso really committed to that.
And 21Ks is
fair call.
21Ks is a long way, no matter what else you're doing. But when there's all these obstacles, and for those who aren't familiar with Bright, it's about 4 hours from Melbourne. It's kind of at the base of the mountains. It's pretty hilly.
The Alpine region.
Yeah, and it can get pretty hot as well. And a lot of these obstacles weren't on the flat ground. So there was one bit, I think it was about the 11 kilometre mark. We went from about 150 metres in elevation to we didn't fact check this, but it was over 1,000 metres within 2.5 kilometres. So that particular stint was very steep. And Blue, who couldn't be here today, he didn't do so well. So and the thing was, we were getting up this hill and it just kept going and going and going. And it was, not only was it steep, but it was hot. And because we were super prepared, we didn't have any water. And contrary to what we were told by the event organisers that there would be water stations, there was not. So we were out in the full sun with no hats, no water, no prep, no nothing. And yeah, Blue is a big guy. He's a ginger fella, so pretty fair, and he was struggling. And when that boy stopped sweating, we started to get a bit stressed about the scenario because he's a big sweaty bastard and we love him. But yeah, at one point, as we were sort of, I don't know, maybe even about a third of the way up the hill, at that point we had no idea how far we had to go up this hill, and Blue needed some help. So because we didn't have any water, I remember having to beg the passers-by, like, hey, could I get a mouthful of water for my mate? He's not doing so good. And that was an understatement because Blue was like in the bushes with his head like between his hands or completely passed out in a ditch. And then we finally managed to drag ourselves to the top of this hill, and the water station was not there. So we thought, when we finally could see the end of the hill, like the top of the actual hill, we're like, yes, there'll be water up there. And there wasn't. And so then we had to keep going, but it was downhill at that point. And then Blue, to his credit, the bloke never gave up. He really, he'd have a moment that would last maybe 15, 20 minutes where he'd be semi-conscious in a gutter, just begging to give up. But then to his credit, the big bastard got up and kept going.
That's awesome.
You know, so for a big guy where he's quite a strong, heavy lad, doing an endurance type event was a big thing for him. And he just kept cracking on. And so we finally got down the hill and there was some water, and managed to fill his head up with a bit of water, and he still wasn't sweating at this point. And we finally managed to get him back on his feet, and then we had to go. Basically, we were about 13k mark by the time we got to the top of the hill, and the rest of it was basically all downhill. And Jason and I were just kind of walking along in front of Blue, and he was non-verbal. He wasn't in a good spot. He was just really struggling. We'd say, "Oh, you're right there, mate," and he'd just kind of grumble something inaudible, and we just keep cracking on. And eventually we got down to the bottom of the hill, and I told him to take his shirt off, and I went and put it in a creek and just made it wet, tried to bring him back to life. And then we did that, and we actually got to a water station, and he drank a bit more water. And then for the last couple of Ks, we even raised a trot at one point, didn't we?
Oh yeah, I think he could smell the finish line.
It was
It's bringing him home.
How long is the race? Like how many hours, I'm assuming?
It took us about 8 hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And it was, and mind you, for those not familiar with Bright, big steep hills, there's a lot of pine plantations there.
I was about to say, what surface is it? Is it
gravel, slippery gravel, and it's in full sun.
Yeah, and it did change. The terrain changed quite a lot.
Yeah.
So on the way down, sort of heading towards the finish, it was more, sort of like gravel roads.
Yeah, like haul roads.
But going up to that at least halfway point or over the halfway point, the terrain was pretty rough. So you've got rocks that are almost rolling downhill, hitting people as they're coming up the hill. And your footing was constantly slipping. Yeah. So you really had to watch, where you placed your feet, and, making sure that you were steady as you continued.
And, ankles, knees, hips, all of it was just because of the unstable footing. But, we, to Blue's credit, he came back to life towards the end, and we finished.
I got to say, there was definite moments there that Joe and I were looking at each other going, we're going to need a Kazovac for Blue at any moment, because he clearly went non-verbal. Even hand signals were hard for him. We'd turn around, look at him, and we'd put our thumb up going, Blue, are you all right? And he could hardly get his arm up and give us a thumbs up. So
that's so impressive.
Finish. And I think that's sort of the embodiment of our whole mantra, right? Yeah. Is that we're turning up, we're probably not prepared, but we're going to have a go, and we're going to do it as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that, I did say this to Joe and even Blue. I don't know whether he acknowledged it or even heard me.
He's
or
dead, he couldn't hear.
Yeah. But I remember when we were getting to shady parts that you would stand in the shade just for even half a second. I've never loved shade so much in my life. It was so refreshing, wasn't it, Joe?
And to a large ginger fella, that guy got burnt.
Oh,
loves the shade. Loves the shade. But that's classic us. We understand there was a training plan that was recommended. We didn't look at it. We just thought we'd have to go.
Just winged it.
No, just winging it. To be honest, I did look at it.
I didn't,
but I just said, whatever. We can do
this.
Be right.
Yeah. And you know what? And maybe this is me, and I took accountability for this. I was like, it'll be like Tough Mudder. I've done Tough Mudder. I've done it 3 times over the years, and I thought it'll be like that. It'll be fun. There'll be music. There'll be like people dancing, and there'll be medics and stuff. None of that. No fun.
No
music. no medics, no water.
What could go wrong?
Nothing went wrong. Blue nearly died. But yeah, it was a gross underestimation of the event that I'd sold the dream to these boys, and so felt a little bit shit about that scenario. But we got through.
We did get through, and I think we've sort of developed into a new motto for what our team is about. We just turn up and wing it.
I think a lot of and to go back to the veteran thing, I think a lot of veterans are good at winging it because you've got to pivot and deal with a scenario as it happens. Whether you're in a submarine or a outfield or in an ambulance or out in the street. Is it on the beat? Is that a thing that you guys say?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. So, but whatever it is, you can't just step away from the situation, gather your thoughts, come up with a plan. You've got to act. You got to
the whole imposter thing.
That's right. You got to do. Is that our first reference to the imposter?
Oh, someone's got to do it. Shit.
Good work, SJ.
Got two hosts sitting
Well
next
done,
to me.
Hey, Jude. Great. I think that, just, obviously, like Joe's right. I mean, obviously there's so many different things that we've just got to adapt to. But sometimes, you do just feel like you're not necessarily prepared for it, but then you've just got to adapt in the moment.
Or that you feel like you don't need to prepare because you'll just go, we'll work it out.
Yeah. Joe, to Joe's credit, Joey really held even Blue and I together. I'm diabetic, so being on this course, having water or having medics around the course is gave me a bit of confidence or gave me a bit of peace of mind. I'm pretty determined to just give everything a crack. But what I've got to really know about is going, well, what are my sugar levels like? So before we started, I checked the sugar levels, made sure that I was in the right range, probably on the higher side, just to make sure, look, I'm going to burn sugars, so making sure I'm good to go. And probably at the most toughest point of that course, I knew my sugars had dropped. And when the sugars drop, you can't think straight. You can't function properly. Your muscles, your body just is so sluggish, it wants to give up on you. And I had one guy come past me and he just said to me, not knowing who I am or what I'm dealing with, just goes, it's all in the mind, mate. It's all in the mind. And
Incorrect.
I almost told him to just piss off, right? But I couldn't speak because I had a sugar low. But, Joe, was supporting Blue for a moment there. But the thing that I love about people that do these obstacle courses together or any team that get together, obviously you know each other, but even members that are not part of your team but they're in a team environment, they'll pick up on things. And this young girl walked past and she looked at me and she said, do you want some sugar? And I just said, yes, please, and she gave me some sugar. And I reckon within 2 to 3 minutes, I was pinging. I was like good. It was like a new Jace.
Is that easy, mate? I could give you some of my own sugar.
Yeah. Well, I was ready to go. So just a little bit of water, some of the sugar, and bang, I was up the top of the hill. And then it was then looking out for Blue.
You just scrape him out of the gutter.
So Veteran Games is coming up in August again. And whilst he's slightly away from a microphone, what sort of commitment are you looking for from Burso for the 2 days? Where can he contribute most? Where do you want to see him dig in?
Look, Burso is he's just such a valuable team member. He throws a lot of shade. He throws a lot of shade, but, look, he is valuable. He's very valuable. The reason is that, he's been with us from day one. And he's got a lot of skill sets. He's tall, so he can help me.
He can reach things out of the cupboard.
It's like going, she had a nice personality.
Yeah. He can help me get over those walls that he reckons I can't get over, things like that. But no, in all seriousness, from last year, there are some real key moments that I often remember about, whenever we go to face an obstacle course, there is that moment that we'll do a bit of a brief together. And you've got people that will contribute and you've got others that sort of sit back a bit and sort of let others take the lead. And, what I found with Burso was that he was always a valuable contributor, Sometimes he would throw things in there and you go, what are you talking about? But then a lot of the key things were quite good, So it's what we look for in a team, I guess, people that can bring value and contribute their ideas, but then all of us sort of get into a place of being able to go, all of our ideas are valuable, but we do need to take the ones that are going to help us as a team, and I believe that, Burso, mate, I'm looking at you. You're a
That's not what I was looking for at all.
Not at all.
Well, I think Burso makes a great cheerleader. Good morale. That's what Burso's good for.
Well, I was going to talk
Good
about,
influencer.
when we go out in the evening, I mean, he brings his own outfit that really, is it the right attire?
Doesn't matter.
I mean, he keeps saying that I led him to a
what's
bar.
He wearing?
Oh, well, if we can show
is he gonna
photos.
Turn into a
If you come out in
videography.
chaps, I'm out.
We'll be back live streaming in a minute.
Well, you see, we, on the Saturday night, was it the Sunday? Either way, we went out on one of the nights and Burso steps out, and I thought they were his pyjamas.
Oh, dear.
Right? Oh, here we go.
Are they his pajamas? Oh, God.
They could be pajamas.
That's
We're
like
looking at a set of
Versace.
silk shirt and shorts, and I don't even know how to describe them.
They're quite
There's lots of yellow and floral stuff going on there.
Very
We
loud.
might have to put up a photo of that
pretty
in the
loud.
carousel.
Yep.
I think it'll be, the listeners would really love to see that photo.
I think so. But, yeah, you guys invited him along, so you get whatever you get.
We did, I mean, yeah. Look, we did invite him along and, we do get what we get,
But you will be entertained. And if you do need some heavy things lifted along the way,
He's not bad.
you can rally him. So.
Yeah, he's
Don't
pretty
tell
good
him,
at
but
it.
he's not bad.
He's pretty good at throwing small guys over the walls.
Speaking from experience.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, all the best on a good games, and we'll be keenly watching all the little videos and posts that come up along the way. And, hopefully just another good year of experiences for the average Joes.
And hopefully we can get people seeing what's happening and getting veterans to be engaged.
Yeah.
Because if we can band together as a group of veterans and the veteran community and help each other out, the ultimate goal is we see less people dying by suicide.
Yeah, right. This is really exciting time to come back into it. Well, why are we talking about suicide again?
It's just what we
Why can't we talk about Jace taking to his tranny bar and stuff? We're not going to get around that.
I didn't actually come, did I?
Mate,
Huh? Oh no, you didn't.
mate.
It was like 8 p.m. and you were like, "No, not interested."
It was bedtime.
Mate, Tug ran around. He's like, "I'm going to find us a bar." There was in between Tug telling us we were going to get tattoos.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with that.
Meanwhile, Jason and Tug run into this bar. The rest of us are sitting there going, there's something a little bit curious about this place. And then Jason and Tug just sit there playing darts. They're like, "Yeah, this is the best place ever." And I was like, "Jeez, it's easy to get a pool table and everything here. It's weird." I'm like,
Look,
there's
to
a
be
dude.
honest, I don't think I said it was the best place ever.
Well, you were pretty excited about it. I mean, you had only
What,
gone
throwing darts?
Yeah, you'd gone 3 feet into a bar and there was a dartboard and you're like, "This is the best ever." Anyway, if you got another 3 feet, there was a gorgeous looking dude with a beard in a red dress. And then I was like, there's something off here. And then, look, to be fair, got free drinks. So I'm not here to throw shade.
Did he offer you free drinks?
I don't know. I think you can say that. Are we allowed to say that? I didn't ask him what his pronouns were. So I don't want to offend him. I mean,
I don't think he.
this is too hard.
Well, I don't
Grammar's
think,
already too hard.
Well, the
I
free
don't think they
drinks
really
thing,
know who we are.
one of my favourite moments. There's a video of it.
Oh, is this when we drank that drink at the end?
No, it's when we were on the bus ride back home, and they handed out a bunch of all this. They gave us this massive milk crate full of booze, and they just gave it to us. I'm like, yeah,
Oh, mate, we had one, like,
And it
because we
was
just
all
won the
weird
award
stuff.
for, like, the crowd favourite. And then old mate's like, "Oh, boys," because obviously we stayed till after everyone else had left because the ice bath was there. We'll stay there as long as the free recovery sessions are on. And then old mate goes, "Oi, lads." And we're like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Here you go." And he gave us basically 0 beers, mid-strengths, and, like, Fosters. Like actually still in the can. That's how old these beers were that they gave
Good
us.
stuff.
It was, he literally went to the thing that he hadn't sold in 4 years and went, "You boys are welcome to it." Anyway, we're banging the side of the van. We're like, "Yeah, we got free beer." Then Joey goes in and he goes, "Hang on a minute, guys." We'd already left the venue by this stage. And he's like, "Hang on a minute, we've been rolled. We got a bunch of near beers, so we just had to like water all the plants in the local area because it was just a waste of our time.
We gave them a go, but they were free.
Man, so like I think there's double, like I was talking to the organisers before, double the ice baths. They've got a new, I think they've got, I think P3 is the people. I'm probably going to stuff it up now, but P3 I think is the recovery people that are getting on board.
I think you're on the right track there.
Yeah, so we're going to have, it's going to be mad recovery. They got some dome temps this time.
Ooh.
I don't even know what's going to happen. I think it's exciting, like wigwams or whatever it is they're going to call it out there. It's going to be amazing. What did we do last time? Breath work?
It was a little weird, that breath work. I thought, I wasn't sure what to think about that.
I wasn't into it, but you know, everyone else is doing it. So what are you going to do?
I was into it because it was an opportunity to lie down on the grass and have a sleep.
I'm heaps good at breathing. Like I don't need someone to tell me how to do it.
That wasn't how you breathe either. He called it fire breathing, and then there was another one that was like double fire breathing. There was like
Berto's favourite though, the
angry dragon breathing,
mouth breathing.
Oh, bet you that's the first sound effect you had. You didn't do one, did you, SJ?
No, there was none.
Not even one. Not even one. How did everyone feel SJ went as a host anyway? I've been sitting around, I've heard 0 laughs, so it's about as good as their book by the sounds of it.
Well, it's not always about the laughs, it's about smiles.
Is it? Well, we'll see how it translates. We don't get over 200 listens on this one, SJ. This is your last time hosting it. Don't even. I love taking a microphone away from someone and throwing shade. I see why you guys did it for the last 45 minutes.
Around doing live posts and nobody realised that we're streaming live on the line.
That's what I loved about it because you could literally look on there and see it said live, and you guys are like, "Oh, this dickhead's just taking another video."
You're like pointed at your phone. Yes, I am. I'm like, what are you pointing at?
Yeah, okay. I love it. I love that afterwards you guys realise you went, "Oh, that's worse now." It's already out there now. That's how it works.
I like how you said that there were 6 people live and then it went to 3.
No, it says how many people have joined, and then it says how many are currently on. And look, shooting at 50% is not bad, I think. Is that good?
It's probably, 6 watches is
yeah. Well, 6
starters.
Man, I bet you it does better than my live streaming running around parkrun tomorrow.
Oh, that's on. That's definitely.
No, I think that'll do better actually.
So
it'll go for longer. It'll go for 40 minutes.
I think that sounded like a commitment.
Yeah, it's going to be the worst entertainment going around, I reckon. You can, well, to be fair, you probably will see a live heart attack, so it might be worth watching. Might be worth getting around.
Hey, this could be the 3rd training session for Average Joes you've done this year.
It could be.
It's a pattern.
Yeah. It's definitely...
Are we at risk of getting you fit, Berso?
No, there's 0 risk of that. Mate, I'm already 3 sevies in. Joe's sitting here drinking bundies the night before. We are not going to be above average. We don't have that on our shirts, do we? If you're below this, like if you can read this, you're below average.
No, we don't.
We joked about it for 12 months. Tug, one job, mate.
One job, Tug.
One job. Like, you got 2 sponsors on there, wrote 45 other things, and the one thing we wanted was if you can read this, you're below average.
Did we think to put Savvy on the shirts?
Nah, because Savvy hasn't sponsored us.
If we talk about it.
We talk about it all the time, but we're not sponsored. Imposters are sponsored. Go Imposter. Type Imposter code, 70% off. You're welcome.
Well done. Well done.
Look, to be fair, if we say Bundy 4 more times, there's a good chance Bundy will sponsor us. But you have also said you're going to glass people every time you've mentioned Gundy, so that might cancel it out.
Mostly just you, though.
Is that not part of the marketing?
It's probably.
Yes.
Is that not part of it? Have you, mate? There's some amazing clips on Instagram about mate, he's like one Bundy in, and then there's like this bloke has to fight the guy with Bundy, so he goes out and sculls a Bundy. Have you seen that? Oh, it's epic. There's one bloke, he just like belts all his mates, and then they're like the hero we needed. You see this bloke go at the bar, and he's like, "Oh, I need one Bundy," and he like sculls a Bundy, and then old mate comes over to fight him, and he fights him back, and then everyone's like, "Yeah," and then he glasses everyone else that turns up. So
I think my favourite one is where it's just two screenshots where it's Bundy, and then a black frame, and then a prison cell.
I like that one.
Would there be another brand with better, like, second layer marketing?
I don't know. Is it? Isn't there like what's like the UK one? Is like Stella, like Bash Your Missus or something?
Yeah,
that's one of those ones.
Yeah,
we're gonna get sued by Buddy and Stella after this one. But Savvy will come to our rescue because he's a lawyer. So he's right.
And there's also a lawyer who will remain nameless right now at our Ringwood RSL.
Is there?
Yes, there is.
Why would you mention it if you're not going to if they're going to remain nameless?
Well,
I know a bloke who can do some stuff.
That's right.
It's about as good as input as that was.
Well, he might not want to be named. So,
who won't want to be named?
Well, I just can't reveal that. It's just like Joe. If you ask him, how deep does a submarine go?
Gerard Butler, maybe.
Now, Burso, I've
That's
got
how
a question.
deep you go.
Got a question for you, mate.
Look, you better make it fast because I'm wrapping it up in 10 seconds.
That's all right. So, what's your
You're already at 6.
what's your
Look at him, he's stuttering. What do you got for me? Oh, it's over. What do you do? Nah, go. What do you got for me?
What's your take on what happened with Spartan Beast, mate? I mean, don't tell me that you were working because,
Well, I sent you videos. I was sitting in front of a band that was like, well, they set my table up in front of a brass band. So for starters, I couldn't even hear anything we had to say.
Why didn't you live stream that?
Oh, I could have live streamed that. I wasn't part of the Imposters at that point. That was last year. Wasn't it? No, this year, Feb.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
fair.
No, because you tried to send me in your place with like an hour's notice.
That is true.
That's true.
Yeah,
I
That is
did.
true. He
I did
did
try.
do that. Yeah.
So sorry I didn't come, but if I'd had,
that's
a
okay.
day's warning, perhaps.
Well,
But he did get to
Mate,
enjoy
how much warning do these boys have? These boys didn't have any warning. I mean, they had 6 months warning and they still didn't train. So you may as well have gone.
No training for it, but
Killed it.
I would have brought you some water.
We need
the
Blue's still
creek.
trying to get hydrated.
Yeah.
6 months later, he's still dehydrated.
That bit, I reckon the video for this, the reel's just going to have to be us in the creek.
Oh,
Oh, we were just in there in our jocks, and you were filming everything.
yeah.
I'm not even going to lie about that. Yeah.
It was a bit awkward.
We needed to
It
get some
wasn't.
hydration.
It's going to be a calendar.
We need to
The
cool
average
down a
show's
bit.
calendar, mate.
Just calendar.
It's like full Monty. Like those boys weren't amazing.
Doesn't matter.
And then it's going to make Dave Caruana. I'm sick of giving him. Dave and Dan Caruana are the same person, just in case anyone's wondering. And he does Tai Chi.
Full Monty filled like a full scout hall.
Yeah.
It was epic.
Yeah, that'll be killing it. That's going to be our thing. The average shows are going to do a full Monty show after you and Jared do your comedy festival. It's going to take off. And
Wow. Okay, Average
Sponsored-
Joe's, if you didn't know.
yeah,
Episodes just dropped.
that's your challenge. You're all doing a stage show after Jared's thing. You know, it's going to be awkward if Jared actually listens to this and organises it. That'd be terrible. But also, we'll have to get DC out because he'll come out and do his mankini. I don't know. What are we going to do? Interpretive dance, maybe? He can come out and do that. If he doesn't get into the calendar this year, he's got to do an interpretive dance in a mankini.
That's a punishment.
That's a win. That's
You
a
better
win.
get in.
That's a win. If you get challenged to do that, then you can pretend you didn't want to do it.
I feel like you already have a mankini.
I've already been doing interpretive dance in a mankini.
I
What do you
feel
say?
like you should have seen
You want to jump on and talk some trash
photos.
on
I've
the mic?
said
You got-
same already.
Cool. Anyway, that's an hour and 2. You got anything else, Jace?
No, look, I'd got to say thanks for having us on, I mean, if there's anything that I can take away from this, it's what I
A
expect.
savvy. You probably take a savvy away. That's about it. Take a glass injury if we keep going with the Bundys too. What do you got for us, Joe? Anything else special?
I
Jeez, wow.
just think that this is a great opportunity to encourage people to have a go.
At what?
Just as a veteran and first responder,
Just do it.
try and put yourself first.
Oh,
At-
try
at
and
some
put yourself first. I see what you did there.
some
First
point.
responder, put yourself first at one point.
Not all the time, but
Well, no.
the way to look after yourself is by putting yourself first sometimes.
Okay. That's a quote we can probably use at some point. It would have been nice if you'd said it better with conviction, but maybe say it again. Go with a quote now. Joe says,
Have a go.
we've already had a bloke that said that. That's terrible.
Put yourself first.
Well, to be the best version of yourself and to give everybody else the best version, you need to look after yourself. So put yourself first at some point so that you can give your best.
Right. Reels don't go for 5 minutes,
Boom.
mate. Just give me one line. Just give me one line. It's just trying to fight me now. She's like,
Put me on the spot,
give me a
mate."
goddamn microphone. That's how life works. That's how life works, mate. Oh, we're smashing things around now.
We'll rework it for next year's shirt.
Just don't.
Hey, look, if you're going to take random photos of people just having regular conversations, well, we can throw things around if you really want.
Oh, yeah, we're fighting now, Jace.
I think
That's not bad. That's
Stay
not bad.
tuned
You went.
for
You
the
went.
Bundy reels to follow.
Yeah, I was. We're gonna go live. Oh, you're just gonna smash. Look, you know what? I would have paid that, and then I would have cut myself for the next 3 weeks and been real upset about it. Joey was threatening to drop a bottle on my kitchen
And
table
I would
floor.
have found your vacuum and cleaned it up because
The least-
stepping on glass.
The least aggressive Bundy bloke ever. I'll glass you, but I'll drive it. I'll drive it
Then
there.
I'll
like
vacuum up your
that.
house.
and I'll pay for a clean up. Awkward. All right, cool. That's us done. Oh, SJ, do you want to sign off?
Go for it.
Just nah. Could
Doesn't
care
want to
less.
come back now.
Wait, Fitzy, you want to make a random appearance or? No, okay. No, yes, the motivation's high on this one.
Well, it's average.
Did you guys do that once when you talked about where we went?
No, we're just having good, deep conversation while you're
God, I'm gonna have to listen. I'm
floating around.
gonna be so upset when I listen to this afterwards. Aren't I? 0 sound effects after I did the road intro. You had one job, SJ. That's it. Oh, yeah, Fitzy, you're on next time, mate, for the next podcast host. SJ's having a timeout. She's going back to writing books. Right, says.
Thanks for joining.
Just do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Just do it. Simple.